What do broke, miserable ex-lottery winners have to do or have in common with dudes who go down the dark side of seduction? These two groups of people might not seem to have anything in common, but if we look beneath the surface, we'll see that there's some similarities based on human nature and economics. And more importantly, you will learn how to avoid the trap of dudes who go down the dark side of seduction. First, lottery winners. It's commonly known that many lottery winners end up broke and miserable only a few years after they win the lottery. Why is this? Well, consider the typical lottery winner. This is generally somebody who buys lottery tickets frequently. And when you do anything frequently, it kicks in the law of commitment and consistency. The more we do things, the more we tend to do those same things. The more we think things like beliefs or ideas, the more we tend to solidify those beliefs and ideas. And so what does a lottery ticket buyer, a frequent weekly lottery ticket buyer, tend to think every week when they buy their lottery ticket? They buy their lottery ticket and they imagine that if I win this lottery, it will solve all my problems. That's the idea that they build up in their head week after week. If I win the lottery, it will solve all my problems. And this creates a kind of an artificial belief that money solves all problems. So what happens when they win? At first, it's fantastic. They pay off all their debts. They buy some new things. But they're starting to realize that there's a lot of issues in life that can't be solved with money. There's health issues, there's relationship issues, there's spiritual issues, there's maybe addiction issues, there's what do I do with my free time every day issues. And they're forced to realize the truth that life is filled with a lot of issues that can't be solved with money, which kind of shatters their previous fantasy. That's the first reason. The second reason is related to this, and that's a common human characteristic or trait, to believe that the next thing that we get, the next thing we're going after, on the other side of that, life is going to be absolutely perfect. We tend to hyper-focus and almost create a kind of a one-itis for this next goal or the next thing that we're going after. This is the source of the shiny new object syndrome. We buy something, and before we buy it, we think, oh, this is going to be great, this is going to be awesome, this is going to fix everything. But then on the other side, life is still the same, and we're going to want something else. And so we tend to repeat this kind of pattern over and over and over again. This is probably a holdover from evolution. But at any rate, the lottery winner has this idea that life is going to be fantastic. And once I solve this, once I get this, if I could just pay off my house, it'll fix everything. If I could just pay off my car, it'll fix everything. If I could just get out from under all this medical debt, it'll fix everything. But they do that, and there's still life that they need to live. And life is filled with obstacles. No matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, no matter how successful you are, life will still be filled with successive obstacles that you need to figure out how to overcome. And that's difficult to do if you convince yourself at first that this one thing is going to avoid all those obstacles. So that's the second reason why lottery winners tend to be miserable, is they're forced to realize that life can be a constant struggle, or at the very least a constant series of obstacles that they need to figure out how to overcome. And one magic thing is not going to fix all that. The third reason is something called the law of diminishing returns. Imagine you're sitting before a delicious meal and you're very, very hungry. The first bite is going to be absolutely fantastic. The second bite is going to be absolutely fantastic. The third bite, fantastic. The fourth bite, fantastic. The fifth, sixth, seventh bite, not quite as fantastic as the first bite. So what's diminishing are the returns or the benefits you're getting from doing the same action, taking a bite of the food. And pretty soon, you're kind of just mindlessly shoveling food into your mouth without really taking the conscious awareness to appreciate it. You slip into automatic human mode, brainless robotic human mode. And this is why it's so easy to overeat. It's hard to figure out when to stop when the first fantastic bite starts to diminish and you start to slip into automatic, robotic, mindless human eating mode. So the lottery winner does the same thing. The first purchase feels fantastic. The second purchase feels fantastic. The third purchase, fantastic. Fourth, fifth, sixth purchase, not so fantastic. Pretty soon, they're kind of like a heroin addict where they need to do a shot of heroin just to feel normal. So the lottery winner starts to need to spend money just so they feel like they're alive. But what's happening is as they're spending their money to get less and less returns on their purchases, their money supply is diminishing. And eventually they're going to run out of money. And when they run out of money, it hits them. All of this kind of hits them at once. One, the world is filled with problems. They're not going to be solved with money. Two, I need to keep going through obstacles in life to be a successful human, and I thought I would get rid of that need if I won a lot of money. And three, my money is gone, and so are my money-making capabilities, my money-making mindsets, the idea of going to work every day, of getting out of bed early every day and going to work. So you're in a very, very bad place, or the person that wins the lottery is in a very, very bad place just a few years after they win the lottery. Now, how does this apply to a guy who goes down the dark side of seduction? It's kind of the same thing, only instead of believing that a windfall of money is going to solve all their problems, they believe if they could just figure out how to get laid regularly, that would solve all their problems. And so they start to create this kind of fantasy that on the other side of this skill set of being able to get laid regularly, everything will be perfect. Their life will be perfect. The heavens will open, and life will be a continuous parade of heavenly bliss raining down from the skies. And so they do what they need to do to get laid regularly. But they do this based on short-term behavioral techniques. They learn all these game techniques online. They trial and error their way to figure out their own kind of personal model of how to talk to girls in the short term, how to put on a short-term personality that will get them the results, which is to get laid. They don't really think beyond getting laid. So they try out a lot of short-term tactics to figure out how to talk to girls into wanting to have sex with them. And at first, just like the lottery winner, it feels fantastic. But the law of diminishing returns kick in. The first girl, the second girl, the third girl, they feel fantastic. But the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, it's starting to get kind of monotonous. It's starting to be like the same thing over and over. And another thing pops up is they didn't really take into account the different personalities of girls. They didn't take into account the potential negative personalities of these girls that you're being intimate with. And you can't really be with somebody just to have sex, and that person has a not so stellar personality without that having an effect on your own personality, on your soul, so to speak. And so what tends to happen for some guys that go down the dark side of seduction, who only focus on short-term success with women to get laid regularly, is they start to develop this kind of bitter attitude toward women in general. And just like the lottery winner destroyed their money-making ability by spending all their riches, the dark side seduction guy is destroying his long-term genuine relationship building skills by using all these short-term artificial tactics to convince women to have sex with him. So he kind of ends up in the same space. He's realizing that getting laid consistently doesn't really change the rest of his life. He still has his other issues he's got to deal with. And life is still filled with obstacles that he needs to figure out how to overcome. And he's destroyed his relationship building skills, and he's put himself in a mindset that women are a terrible group of people, and he's never really going to have a happy relationship with someone. Before he went down the dark side of seduction, he might have had a belief, a small belief, that it could be possible one day to meet somebody and have a happy life with them. But on the other side of this dark side seduction experience, he's convinced himself that all of women are terrible, that they'll stab you in the back, that they're not loyal, that they'll cheat on you. So he's absolutely destroyed his belief that it's even possible for him to have a happy relationship with somebody. Sure, he's getting laid regularly, but it's not satisfying nearly as much as he thought it would. And so he's kind of put himself in a worse situation, kind of like the lottery winner is now in a worse situation than they were before they won the lottery. So how do you avoid falling into this trap? How do you avoid the dark side seduction guy? Well, there's an easy technique that will help you do that, and it will make you actually much more attractive than any kind of short-term game techniques. And that is to become a qualifier of female personalities. The critical flaw the dark side seduction guy made was treating all attractive women as if they were qualified. That's all he needed. A girl that was pretty enough. He didn't care about their personalities. But instead, consider becoming a qualifier of female personalities. Start off wherever you can practicing small talk with people to develop your social skills. And however long it takes, take your time, go slow, don't push yourself. Get to the point where you can talk to pretty girls. And when you can talk to pretty girls without passing out from fear or peeing your pants, start to qualify them based on their personalities. Don't allow yourself to become physically or sexually or romantically attracted to them until they pass your personality qualifications. This will take a long time, but it will do something very, very important. It will cause you to become incredibly attractive just by who you are. You'll develop social skills. It'll be part of your personality. And because you're qualifying them based on their personalities and you're not satisfied with just their looks, that will put you in a class of men that they've really never met before, which will make you seem incredibly confident and incredibly charismatic. And this will make you very, very attractive simply by your natural personality. You won't need any short-term game techniques. You'll just be yourself, the self that you'll be building up over time. And you'll just be talking to girls, qualifying them based on their personalities, and they will sense this, and that will make them very attracted to you. Then you'll be living the best of both worlds. You'll be living a life of sexual abundance, romantic abundance, but romantic abundance with women that are high quality, qualified personalities based on your qualifications. This is definitely a long game plan. But if you stick with this program, if you stick with this plan, you will become very, very confident, very, very charismatic. You'll be slowly and continuously improving the quality of your personality, so you really just need to be yourself and attract a lot of high quality women. This is the outcome for this long game plan. This is the goal of this long game plan, to just simply need to be yourself and naturally attract a lot of high quality women based on your qualifications. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you'd like to learn more about how to improve your conversation skills and social skills, check out the links below. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.